Signs of a dying church, how to detect it, and how to cure it. That's the goal of this online program. I am a member of a dying church. I walked into it and was amazed by what I saw. This church from the exterior is a perfect looking church in a very rich neighborhood next to another beautiful church, and all the roads and everything about this entire area lets you know that it is well taken care of. One of the symptoms that I did not notice when I first walked into the church was how decayed it was. One of the symptoms of a dying church is their building. The building may look clean and it may be free of hazards, but if the appearance is old and the amenities are old, then people start to look around and see that they've walked into an outdated church. The first thing I noticed when I walked into this church was there was no ramps for wheelchairs whatsoever, except for a very weak ramp inside going up to the steps to the sanctuary. And there are a lot of steps in this place, a lot, going into the buildings no matter which entrance it was. There was a very small puny elevator that it was hard to get a wheelchair in, let alone another person with it. And that one worked sometimes but not always. And then the bathrooms had very old-fashioned everything in there, and the water fountain was old. I was surprised there wasn't mold on it, or even moss as far as that goes, but it wasn't. They did clean it, and just everything was old. And the curtains inside the sanctuary were a nice bright red, but on closer examination they were falling apart, deteriorating badly. And the cushy foam things on the seats of the pews had stains and wear marks, and the tiles on the floor were all scratched up. So there was obvious signs that there was a lot of usage, and that's how I first saw it, a lot of usage. They had a large church, they had a place to sit above also, and a large place for the choir. And yet, through it all, I kept thinking maybe it was an off time because it wasn't the summertime. Didn't exceed, except one time a year, didn't exceed more than about 55 people, ever. Very, very, very nice senior citizens in that church. I was the youngest one when I walked in, and at the time I was 54 or 55. And I was the youngest person there, which I thought, okay, well, it's summertime. Maybe everybody is out and about. So the first thing when you are looking around a church to see is it dying is, how's the decor? Is it been updated? Is it worn? What's going on with this? Because even a small community of people, 40 to 50 people, if they're not all senior citizens, then you get people who are working. And if they're tithing 10%, you got enough money to keep everything going, hopefully, and cleaning your church and doing some your own projects and upgrading things that are worn, if people care. If not, and you have like 100 people and it's not having any signs of anything being updated or taken care of, you got a problem. That's your first indication that there is a problem and that this church is actually dying off. No one in the church seems to care to be current. That's the problem. And that's something I noticed in this church pretty fast. And I tried to bring people in because I knew that there was a chance that this church was having a problem. And so I went to the pastor and I asked, can I give out these cards, these business cards to people on the street? And what it was the one side said in big bold letters, prayer. And on the other side, do you need prayer? And I gave the information for the point of contact as being myself with my church information and my own cell number. And I was told that it had to go in front of the board to be approved. And I kind of thought to myself, I'm buying these business cards. I'm the one going to be handing them out. I want the affiliation to the church to bring people in. Also, I'm offering you the opportunity for me to do all this, and this had to go in front of a board, which of course took over a month. By that time, I was pretty well over the whole thing because I was pretty dismayed that a church that was obvious needed help was not willing to grab at the things that hold you up from drowning in the water, life buoys and things like that. They weren't able to make that decision quick. It had to go in front of a board. And that's another thing. If you're dying, you need to reach out as fast as humanly possible and take the things that are offered to you for free, and especially someone willing to walk the streets to invite people into the church, because a dying church usually leaves it to one person, the minister, who's already overworked, and you're going to drown because either he's worn out or he's very discouraged, or both, and you're not going to get anybody inviting anybody in because nobody's doing what they should be doing in the first place. No one's discipling anybody. So in a building, take a look around. Are you current? And if you're not current, what can you do? Make friends with people at Menards, or people at Home Depot, or the people at your local True Value, your local hardware stores. Make friends with them. Find out what discounts you can get, when you can get them, and how to save as much money as humanly possible so that you can get what you need, and even instructions on YouTube on how to do it if you don't know how to do it. And do some updating. Because believe me, there was some updating that could be done easily and inexpensively if it needs, if someone was willing to do it. That's one of the first signs. And you can stay tuned because I'm going to go through every single sign of a church decay and what I think can be done to help it get around it, if possible. But you got to be more than just acknowledging what's going on. You got to be able to take the bull by the horns and do something. Don't just wait for someone else to do it. You got to be the person doing it. Now, I tried everything I wanted to do for this place. I got shut down on everything, small and large, shut down by everyone in the church. Everyone, committees, people, backstabbing, backbiting, everything, because I was upstaging and trying to do things that their social club hadn't done and didn't want to do. But these are things that can be done. Are you desperate enough to trust God and pray and allow yourself and others to do the work that's necessary? It's a question to ask. Or are you willing to let your church die? This is the first part of the diary. Stay tuned. I'm going to provide more as time goes on, trying to help churches not close. God bless you. And remember, prayer is your best tool for this. Action is needed besides praying. God bless.